Good morning, everybody. We're coming to you live from inside the main build facility here at Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. I'm Tom, and we all know the master Bubba, who's chilling on this S-Class Mercedes. Good morning, Bub.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Doing really well,
Usually you ask me, hey, how am I doing? I didn't even get to
We haven't gotten there yet. This episode is brought to you by Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. Bubba'sExoticMotorsports.com, where you get to see all the great stuff we're doing around here. Miss Outlaw Boutique. MS Outlaw Boutique.com. Hey, Bub, the monkeys are in the house. Monkey in Paradise. MonkeyInParadise.com. Bub, what is your paradise?
What's your paradise? There it is. No, what's your paradise?
My paradise is being with you every day, Bub. That's it. Right there. In a nutshell.
That's it?
I don't care if I'm in Alaska. I don't care if I'm in Iraq.
I'm not going to Alaska. That's cold.
My paradise is being with you every day.
Where the snowmen are.
I don't like the cold at all, Bub, but I'm here with you, and that's all that matters. TonyRienzi.com. That's TonyRienzi.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And welcome to our new title sponsor, Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach, Bub.
I'm excited, dude.
Big, big, big. Thanks to Max. Thanks to John Zalinga out there, man, for signing on with us 2 days ago. Huge, man. The Lion Pride is complete with Tony Rienza, Bubba's Exotic Motorsports, Carrie over at DV8. I mean, Seth over at DNA Surface Concepts, the whole crew. And we'll be where tonight, Bub?
Jumbie Bay.
Tonight is
There's going to
Jumbie
be
Bay
wings everywhere. I'm warning everyone now. Wings, Baby Max, MIP. It's going down. Lion Pride.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be, the Lion Pride will be out. Everybody will be there. We asked you to come out and join us somewhere around 6:30, 7 o'clock at Jumbie Bay, directly across from the world-famous Miss Outlaw Boutique.
Probably better you get there earlier than later so it's not a gong show.
It's going to be a gong show. It always is.
Can you ask them to please bring me some wet wipes, the lemon-scented ones?
Oh,
Yes.
no, they bring them every time.
Angie and
I will have special ones for the producer.
Angie and the crew over at Jumbie Bay, please bring our producer, you know who he is, Matt, lemon-scented wet wipes for the wings.
Yes.
How about that?
I have a feeling the last set of lemon-scented wet wipes from Jumbie Bay made it all the way to Boston. I got a picture of them from somehow in Boston, Fenway
Kent
Park.
Brown, how about that?
With
Kent
the Monkey
Brown,
in
how
Paradise.
about that? Clark, how you doing up there in Boston at Fenway Park? But we're going to talk today a little bit about, we got a lot of exciting stuff, man. A lot of exciting
Yeah,
stuff
but let's
going
keep it short, man, because we can't keep giving all these clowns all of our good information. We got to give them a little bit at a time, like a teaser, and then come back at it.
But we're going to talk about sketch. Mr. Producer, go ahead, sir.
We got Sean Kelly from DNA. He says he's going to be next door getting his haircut at 6.
Yes.
No wings for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just gotten a message from Sean Kelly. Sean Kelly, as you know, is the world-renowned expert and foremost authority on everything that is ceramic coatings.
Well, not only that, too, but just detailing in general, man. The guy's rides are top shelf.
Top shelf.
You think some of the stuff that we have roll through here is clean? No, we do a great job cleaning cars. We do a very good job making every car that rolls out of BEM looking really good for prior delivery on every vehicle. That's amateur hour compared to what Sean does at DNA. I'm telling
Amateur
you,
hour.
That's it, totally different.
And by the way, we have to get the Bubba's Exotic Motorsports Turbodynamics Mustang in Sean's hands over at DNA Surface Concepts. He'll be with us tonight. We'll be talking about that. You can go out and see him. Look, just Google DNA Surface Concepts. You'll see it.
Instagram, Facebook, all DNA
Right
Surface
there.
Concepts.
And Sean's stuff he's so obsessive compulsive. He is to ceramics and coatings on everything, which you are to an automobile. It's just obsessive compulsive behavior on his part.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
If you're paying for a service, you want the best service. It's that freaking simple.
And he's part of the Lion Pride.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Which means if he's going to be next door, he's going to be at Joe the Barber's Edge. Which, by the way, you want to talk about a really cool place to go? Really
want a haircut?
cool.
That's the place to go, man.
Really, really edgy. Totally like shop vibe inside. It's all on like tile flooring with all of the guys wear their actual, I don't know, what do you call it?
They wear like leather aprons, leather barber's
the
aprons.
barbershop equipment. You can, I don't know, tools? You want to call them tools? We'll call them tools. Anyways, they're all on toolboxes. So it's like they work out of toolboxes. They all wear like these. To me, I think of the movie Hostel where the guy's getting his head lopped off with like the black belted things with the gold ringy things here.
So go to the barber's edge and get your head lopped off.
Right, that's it. So like when somebody's getting, you know, a haircut fade up the side, it's like 45 to the throat.
Right, exactly. Joe's got a really good operation. Because of our busy schedule, we can't run over there like we used to, so we have somebody come in and take care of us on Friday mornings.
Solid, really good.
We can't get out of here.
Really good guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little bit about maintenance schedules and scheduled maintenances on European vehicles.
And why they're important, by the way.
So tell us why they're important.
Okay, so, let's just start off with the scheduled maintenance part, right? So scheduled maintenances come on every manufacturer, every automobile, anything that's out there and it has wheels and it has an engine. I don't know if the freaking electronic cars have maintenance. What do you do? Charge the batteries? Who freaking knows, right? You stick them in the sun, they're done. So check it out, man. When you have something like this, for example, this is a 2012 Mercedes-Benz S550. This is a V8 twin turbo car. Very nice ride. Has a combination of, Kerry and I were talking about it last week with his CLS that he used to have.
Carryover DD8 Motorsports.
It's these cars. Now, granted, we love a lot of cars. We love a lot of Porsches, the two-door sports cars. We love the Lamborghinis, just exotic supercars, the Bugattis. There's a lot of stuff out there that's very high-end, really cool, and you can never beat an old pro touring muscle car, right?
Not.
But this car is an all-around complete package. Everything from...
Very well stated.
It's a performance car, right? It has a lot of power. These cars, people underestimate AMG package cars. This is not an S63 AMG, but it is an S550. Very, very good platform in this car. An S550, it's twin turbo. This car moves with no problem at all. So you get performance, you get luxury, you get design and looks, you get comfort. It's an all-around package that you don't get in any arena. I really don't feel you do. And I've had my hands in a lot of cars, but if you go for Porsche, for example, you're getting a lot of the performance and a lot of the style and design, but you lack on, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, you lack on the comfort and luxury. You're in a sports car. You feel the tightness of it, and you feel it's firm to the road, which I love, but don't get me wrong. Sometimes you want to just get in a very nice car that's got a lot of power, that looks really good, and is super smooth going down the road, and that's exactly how this is.
This is one of 12 Designo interior packages that was designed in this particular color, Bob. It's a beautiful color. The interior leather smell is just...
It'll knock you over when you open the doors. The smell of Mercedes leather, the appointments that are inside, the positioning of the navigation, the way the screens are set up. When you sit in the seats, it's at either your hands, it's at your arm reach. Everything is right there for you. You're like sitting in luxury recliners with everything in one place all at one time. And now getting to a point where the new S-classes, the dashes, the model just after this one, which this one's getting ready to go in for, there are, instead of just one large navigation screen, there's literally two that are almost 25 inches wide from your driver's instrument panel all the way across the center console, and it literally angles like 45 towards you as a driver, like a command center. Incredible what you get in that car.
Not only that, this is what they call the chauffeur's package, Bub. So the rear seats recline, they're heated, they're air conditioning, there's rear shades. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, the back is very dark so that you cannot see in as a chauffeur's package. There's massagers in these seats. There is heat, there's air conditioning. It's a very, very comfortable vehicle to be in on the air ride. One of the things you did with this vehicle, though, Bub, even though it is an air ride car, you were able to lower and set the stance on this car.
Yeah, of course.
And you put it over on the Asante black label wheel and tire combination, keeping it staggered just like it came from the factory, retaining that factory air ride, so it's very comfortable and very, very smooth and floaty, but it gives you that lowered aggressive stance.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all you need to do to these cars. Again, this is a complete package. They've got the power. You don't want to really, now don't take me wrong, there's a lot of guys out there that run Rentec systems, they run Rentec exhaust. Really, really animal style class right there. If you want to take these cars over the top, run Rentec, anything you can imagine, whether it be from the boost control side of it to a suspension controller side to air intakes to exhaust systems to tuning, all of that stuff is amazing that's offered there. Very much so in the AMG classes like the S63s, any of that class right there, definitely want to lean towards Rentec. But on something like this, again, where it's a complete package all around, you don't want to go and modify the exhaust on this car. This is a car that's out there for luxury, it's out there for comfort, it's got plenty of power, but you don't want to take the luxury and comfort away because you've put on a louder exhaust, something with a lot more tone. Of course, it would sound aggressive and really good, but that's not the intended use of this vehicle for the client who owns it, right? So what we did was very simple. We tinted the windows on this car. We did a 22-inch Asante black label wheel and tire sitting on the factory Pirelli. So what would have been on this car is if Mercedes-Benz released this from their lot with 22s, riding on Pirellis, front and rear. It's a 22 by 9.5 and a 22 by 11 on the rear. Great stagger fitment, looks super good, has a really aggressive stance, so it fits the car really well. No scrubbing, no rubbing. You know what we use is a set of billet ride links, so you're not having to, again, you can go into those different classes of, financially, you can go with a billet ride link, or you can go with a Rentec computer to set your stance on the car. This one we only needed to set one time, so we didn't need to go into full tuning of the computer. So essentially you use billet ride links to just drop it down that ½ inch in the rear, 3/4, 1 inch in the front, and that's all you need to set these things looking really good, just to bring the stance down a little bit so it's aggressive, but not slammed. You can't put this car on the cover of Stance Nation. but it looks really good. The wheel and tire combo is perfect fitment, and it just rides exactly how it should.
It does, Bob. It's an amazing looking vehicle. And when you look at the maintenance schedules of these things, they'll call for an A, B, or C maintenance schedule. Typically, they'll notify you on the passenger console and say, or the driver's console and say, it's time for the A-level service or the B-level service.
You're this many days coming up, you're this many days past due, you're this many miles from it. They give you everything you can possibly imagine because they're tuned in to the ECM of these cars, and Mercedes computers, which we have one here at the facility, can get right in and reset all of those parameters so that you're ready for your next service.
The ECM is what, Bob?
Electronic control module, or some people say ECU, electronic control unit. Just depends. Some people say PCM, powertrain control. It just depends on who you're talking to, who you're dealing with. Everybody uses their own terms.
And what is the function of the ECM? If you were to relate it to a body part, what would it be?
It's essentially the heart. So this is where everything comes and goes, every signal, everything that transmits and receives, heart and brain. That's what this thing does.
Heart and brain.
It is your power plant. It controls everything. It receives feedback from all the sensors on this car, literally down to the auto closing doors. That's a body control module. It's a little different, but it does the exact same thing. All of these computers interact with each other. In this case, for the scheduled maintenances. This car is due right now for its 30,000 mile scheduled maintenance. Very basic, very minor. The back of the owner's manual even tells you what's included in that setup or what's required. Typically air filters, oil change, set the tire pressures, rotate your tires if needed. If they're not a staggered fitment, it's not a staggered, so you don't do any rotation. You set your tire pressures, you balance your wheels and tires, and that's about it, and you go down the road. Now, where's the importance in having something like that done? As simple as that is, let's say a couple $100 service here, right? Setting tire pressures, balancing wheels, and changing the oil. Fully synthetic, we'll discuss that in a minute.
Yes.
What is the importance of that? It allows you to get in the places you need to get. In this case, was a severe problem. We had no idea that this car at 30,000 miles has no front brake pads on it, and you don't know those kinds of things until you get into that area and look. So thank God we are doing, and this client took the time to bring their vehicle in for a scheduled maintenance, again, as basic as it seems, to get behind these wheels and, check out deeper. It says check your brake pads, check the inspection of everything, check your tie rods, check your dust boots on all your steering and suspension joints, and we found that the front brake pads, sure enough, were literally down to maybe 10-15% left.
Which you replaced. You used a ceramic pad to keep the brake dust down on the
This
vehicle.
isn't the same ceramic, though, that you would take it out of the box and rub it on the paint.
Well, like Sean would use on the paint.
Yeah, it's not that ceramic.
But if Sean took one of the standard brake pads and puts coatings on it, would it be a ceramic pad?
I don't think it works that way.
Sean will discuss that tonight over a beer.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
I think that conversation is going to be very short and really quick.
Because he'll be too busy eating wings.
And Baby Macs.
And Baby Macs, how about that?
Yes.
And burgers and all that good stuff.
Those are the burgers.
And the other thing, Bub, that the scheduled maintenance allows you to do is you can sign off on the back of the book, and it keeps the warranties in place.
It does, yeah.
That's what's very important.
Yep.
You're very, very pragmatic about keeping things the way the factory designed them.
Oh, especially on today's cars, man. Come on, let's be real. These cars go through a lot, and I'm talking more than any of us on a layman level, even us in the industry. Most guys out there, fans, do-it-yourselfers, other builders if you're watching, you guys have no idea, unless you've literally been into a plant and you've seen the way these processes are done, you have no idea how much R&D and testing goes into one function of anything, man. Just to make this door handle work has a lot of things that go into it. And it's not just test it 5 times and roll it down the assembly line with 500,000 of them. It's tested 500 times, and then they figure out and perfect it even more from there before they even consider building one.
Right. And Bub, one of the things is these ECMs, or the electronic control modules, the brains as it were, these things make hundreds of thousands of decisions every second. So this is just like a neuron highway firing back and forth. This is the reason your scheduled maintenances have to be stayed in touch with.
I mean, not only that, but wouldn't you want to just take care of your car? You spend $100+ grand on a car.
165 is what this one was.
So when you spend that kind of, even it doesn't matter. That number doesn't even matter. If I went and bought a brand new Toyota Tundra right now for $30,000 and put a nice lift kit on it, something like that. Kerry just did a sick one, dude. First one that's actually running around in town right now. If you did something like that and you're all in at 35 or 40 grand, wouldn't you want to take care of it? Rotate your tires, have your alignments done, make sure that everything's doing what it should do.
But most people think because it starts, it's okay.
No, not at all. You have to keep up with it. You Could you sit around at your house and just eat Oreos all day and expect something to go wrong, or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, your heart's
It's going to go
give
wrong,
out.
right?
Yeah.
You have to keep up with it. You can't just abuse and abuse and abuse. You have to take care of it at some point.
And Bub, one of the
Cleaning,
things,
maintenances, everything.
all of it, all of it. You have to take showers twice a day. You have to stay clean.
Well, you don't have to, but it's probably suggested you at least get one every, at least maybe a couple days. I don't know.
I don't know. I get 2 a day, so it doesn't matter.
I got 3 the other day. I was tired of getting showers.
I know you were.
Literally. I was done. Like my towel was soaking wet. I was like, I'm done, dude. I'm tired of this.
Yeah, but we're super clean people, Bub. You know how it goes. Well, let's talk about the oil a little bit. The one thing you use in every vehicle is synthetic oil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always, you always default to the mobile product.
I do.
And you stay up with the latest and greatest in mobile's releases. In this particular case, you specifically requested the European oil.
Yeah. So, okay, so you pretty much just closed on everything there, but just to finalize on that, yes. So my personal preference is Mobil 1. I run Mobil 1 synthetic oil in everything, and I'm talking everything. I'm talking my cars, whether it be, let's see, hot rods. They have a high performance line of 15W50 with zinc additives. So for all the guys who have hydraulic flat tappet camshafts, it's already pre-mixed. You don't need extra additive bottoms. You've got 1550 high performance. You have 0W40 European car formula. You have your generic, your 5W20, your 5W30, your 10W30. Every one of them has a different weight. They all have different characteristics. All of that can be researched on Mobil 1's website if you guys are into it like that and want to go out and research it. A lot of people have no freaking idea what to even look for in oil. There's so many different brands, so many different options. I've tested, I've tuned, I've built with Mobil 1 for a really long time. And again, this is another perfect example of it. These cars run a 0W40, correct? So a lot of Porsches, a lot of Mercedes-Benz, a lot of Audis, all of them require fully synthetic oils from the factory, which is why Mobil 1 has the perfect setup. It's a European car formula. It kind of says it on the label. You kind of know what you have. You just make sure it's what belongs in the car. It's that simple. As long as this will work in your environment. This works here in South Florida. This is rated at 0W40. It works for our temperatures. We don't get too cold. This is a perfect setup for this car. So that's what we're going to run in this ride, as well as Mobil 1 filters anytime we can. This car, however, doesn't take a canister style filter. What most people are familiar with is has threads, you screw it on. This is a cartridge style filter. It's literally just a filter in a tube that drops into a oil filled compartment in the engine bay somewhere, whether it be mounted to the motor or whether it be remotely mounted somewhere else externally with lines running to it. You remove a hard plastic cap that's molded. You pull the filter out, you change a new filter, typically comes with O-rings. That, we always buy Mercedes-Benz parts. Same thing with Porsches. You buy from the factory. What are the filters? 15, 20 bucks. It's not that expensive to get the best quality product. You're not going to get better.
You want?
So why not do it?
What about, Bub, air filters and cabin air filters?
Yep.
What is a cabin air filter?
So your cabin air filter is your filter that is actually part of your ventilation system that draws air into the vehicle and cleans it, filters it before you breathe in any funk air, essentially.
Would it be like a house filter?
Oh, for sure. Same exact thing. It's the exact same thing as your heating and what do you call them in houses? HVAC, right? That's what you call them. So typically, 17, 20 inches or so square. Sometimes rectangular.
house, not in the
1 inch
car.
thick. Yeah, not that big in the car. You could put one that big. You probably wouldn't just slam the door down on
That's
it.
it, just close the hood.
Half of it flapping in the wind. But same thing. It's just a filter on your inlet side where the air draws in. It catches everything it can possibly catch before it comes in. And that, again, you want to run the best quality filters out there available. This car has always been run with Mercedes-Benz filters. There's no reason to upgrade it again. If we were going to an aftermarket, let's say, an upgraded exhaust system and intake system, maybe we go with a set of K&N high flows. You're going to get a little more breathing power there, a little more fuel performance. Then you can upgrade the exhaust. You can do those step one entry levels where it's an air intake, an exhaust intake, and then a little tuning to the engine. Big differences, but that's not what we're doing on this car, so we just stay with factory Mercedes-Benz components. So the best, the direct fit, they cost just a touch more, you're getting a perfect product and it drops right in.
Bub, one of the other things too is that you always do lighting checks on every vehicle before it goes out the door. Why?
So, I do it for everything. Again, this is a scheduled maintenance. You're in here doing what's recommended, which is from the factory. They do it because of all of that R&D testing. They know, hey, at 40,000 miles through average driving, you may want to check your brake pads. Perfect example. Ding, ding, ding. Glad we did it. So they're telling you because they've already done it and they know the reason for it. Producer has a question. He literally has his hand up like a student.
Yes, Mr. Producer.
Joseph Kramer has got a question about oil. You change from high mileage gasket additives, synthetic oil to standard synthetic oil. Can this cause gasket leaks? And when do you change your cabin air filter? Is it mileage versus years?
Okay, so Joe Kramer,
Those are
ladies and
good
gentlemen, has two questions. If you have a high mileage vehicle and you've been running high mileage oil, can you go back to conventional oil? Number one. Number two, how often do you change your cabin air filters? I can answer the second one. Do it based on the manufacturer's recommendation, which is in your owner's manual, Joe. Yes.
I think we need to clarify. It's going from a high mileage synthetic oil to just a regular synthetic oil.
Okay.
And that caused the gasket issues.
Okay, yeah, so we'll close on those. And yet to close on yours as well with the cabin air filters. If you don't have your factory service manual like this car does, it has everything in it in the back. You can Google it, do the research. A lot of the times the manufacturers have built these things all the way back to the early, let's see here. I think the earliest manual I've ever held in my hands was probably like 1903, 1905,
Yep.
right, with Ford. So you can probably find the manual for whatever vehicle you have out there, and it will tell you what those recommended procedures were at, say, X mileage. So that's it with the cabin air filter. If you don't find either of those, take the time and just disassemble it, take the filter out and look at the condition of it. It's not hard to see whether or not the filter's dirty, the filter's clean. If you can hold it up to light and see through the filter, if you can't, probably a good thing to change it. That's in your cabin air filter. Same goes with your air filter, same exact procedure. However, in your oil side of it, let's just cut straight to the truth. If you
A lot of myths about oils, ladies and gentlemen.
if
It
you
gets
have
very
a
technical.
leak, any leak in your motor, you have a problem with the gasket. It has nothing to do with your oil. Oil is meant to stay in one compartment. It's meant to stay sealed. It's lubrication. It's pressurized. Typically when you run high mileage, it's because there's better additives in there for the bearings and the joints that are wearing down in the motor. So it's better. It's a friction modifier. That's what you want to run if you have a high mileage vehicle. If this had anything, I think Mobil has theirs high mileage is ranked at over 75,000.
75,000.
So anytime we have a car that hits over 75, we run Mobil 1 fully synthetic, high mileage. It's just that simple. Nothing hard about it. Still European car formula, high mileage version. Nothing worse than that, right? So works perfect. Everything goes right in. But if you have a leak, you have a gasket problem. It has nothing to do with Castrol, Mobil 1, Valvoline, I don't know, HPL, Redline, Royal Purple. It has nothing to do with any of that, man. You have a bad gasket.
That's it.
It's just that simple. It doesn't matter going from brand to brand. You're not going to have a leak develop because you change oil manufacturers or weights.
There are a lot of myths out there on the market, Bob, about oils.
Big time, yeah.
You have spent tremendous amounts of time studying oil threads so that you understand everything about them and how they work. Don't get caught in the wash of myths and rumors.
There's a lot of forums, man, and a lot of guys. Every guy has different opinions on oil, man. Everybody swears by their own oil. I swear by Mobil 1. It's just that simple, man.
But
you have your own
stupid
opinions.
stuff like don't start a new car on synthetic oils and it causes leaks or it causes
nonsense.
It's all nonsense.
When these
ladies
cars
and
come
gentlemen.
down the assembly line, I'm telling you, if you guys haven't been to mass production plants, which a lot of people haven't, if you haven't been to General Motors and seen their assembly lines or their engine builds or their testing and tuning where they do all of their engine dynoing, if you haven't been to any of that, you have no room to say anything. When you get these motors, brand new crate engines right out of the box, run them with the oil you're going to run them on. They will also include, if you get a crate motor, for example, change this oil after the first 50 miles, change it after the first 20 minutes.
Miles, yep.
They will tell you what they recommend doing because they've already done it. They've done the testing, they've done the time, they've done the research, they know what works and what doesn't work, so just follow the freaking rules.
That's it. By the way, if you doubt what the manufacturers are doing and you can't get to a big assembly plant, all you have to do, Bob, is go to your local facility like Chevrolet, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche. Look at the motor. It's stamped right there. It'll say Mobil Synthetic only.
That's it.
If these cars are coming out of the factory with Mobil Synthetic in it, you can best bet all the crap that you're hearing about don't start a brand new motor on synthetic is just that crap. Put it to rest, ladies and
A
gentlemen.
lot of today's cars in today's world, if it's brand new, 99.9% chance, they're going to have just either on the engine cap itself, typically on engine caps, they tell you oil weight, and sometimes it'll say like on, I think on Jaguars, all of theirs are actually stamped with, on the cap it actually says what oil they recommend. I think they recommend Castrol. But if you look at a lot of today's engine bays, the engine compartment, maybe near your radiator, somewhere at the core supports, what it's really considered, you'll look at that area, you're going to have a lot of emission stickers, a lot of specs on the U.S. compliance and what year it was built for, the regulations for EPA. There's typically going to be a sticker there that says Mobil 1 recommended. something like that. There's going to be something in your engine bay, something in your owner's manual. It will tell you the brand that's recommended by the manufacturer if they recommend something. Some companies aren't really out there pushing other products, but everybody that I run with, from Porsche to Mercedes-Benz to General Motors to Ford, all Mobil 1, if they are using it, there's a reason they're using it.
That's great. And you'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, inside your engine bay, the captured color, different fluid caps are color coded. Blue is for your washer fluid.
Yep.
Think about water. Yellow is for your oil, for example.
Yep.
Just pay attention to everything. So, Bub, in summary, make sure you're doing those scheduled maintenances.
That's it.
Make sure you're doing your light checks. Make sure you're checking your tire pressures, and they're balancing the wheels every time you do your scheduled maintenance.
It doesn't cost much for what you're going to get.
It doesn't. Rotate your tires if you're not on a staggered type stance. Every other oil change is the rule of thumb. And remember, if you have radials, you've got a cross pattern. Your fronts go straight up and your backs crisscross and come back. There's a pattern to doing things. You want to make sure you research. And more importantly, make sure your technician or your facility of choice turns off or updates
all of your lighting.
All of your lighting up front. It makes sure that it knows it's on a new oil change.
Some of that stuff is super simple, man. There's, like a lot of the Chevrolet platforms are all done through steering wheel controls or throttle control. A lot of the Mercedes-Benz ones are done through steering wheel controls. The Jeep JK platforms are done through just pressing the gas pedal 3 times really fast.
Yeah, Chrysler's done that for a long time.
Within 3 seconds. 3 times within 3 seconds, it's done. Oil life reset to 100%. It doesn't get much easier than that. It's, again, all about taking your time, doing your research, and understanding what the heck it is you guys are doing with your cars. Not just driving.
No, and it is. And finally, the tech tip for today, Bub, is on European vehicles like this, the lug nuts are very different from the American vehicles.
Yes.
And in doing so, you have to have a certain tool that screws onto the rotor itself, the lug itself, that pins that wheel up there and holds it in the 12 o'clock position.
Yep.
Why is that? Please explain.
Yeah, so all of the European rides, not all, but a lot of them typically operate off of what's considered a lug bolt, not a lug nut. Lug nuts, guys, are the ones that just screw onto studs that are already on the car. Europeans, a lot of the time, do not have that. They have nothing more than just a rotor and a hub, and you have to run a lug bolt through all 3 of those components to line them up. There are actual billet aluminum sticks for you guys out there that do this a lot. Maybe there's other builders out there watching. If you do your wheels a lot, there's actual billet aluminum sticks that are threaded, 1/2 inch deep, and they are about 6 inches long. It's like a dowel pin, essentially. You can literally thread it in first. It comes outside the body of the car, and it allows you to just take your wheel and stick it through one hole, push the whole thing all the way on, and you can mount 4 others, 3 others, 5 others, depending on your lug pattern. And then you can remove that dowel pin after you've got all the others on and add that last one. It makes it a lot easier.
It does, because it allows you to slide the wheel away from the body of the vehicle and prevent damage. Wheels coming off of the hub itself. So, Bob, that's a nice overview of why we should stay up with our scheduled maintenances on these vehicles.
That's it, man. And it's just, hey, if you guys take care of your rides and you keep them clean, it's going to feel like a new car every time. It's just that simple. If your tire pressures are set, people don't understand. If you're down 10 pounds or you're up 20, it's going to ride like junk. I'm telling you from personal experience, and I've used a lot of tires, and every tire manufacturer is much more sensitive than the other. So take the time and understand all of the components, the tire pressures, the balancing, make sure your alignment's straight. Any of those problems will make your car ride like junk. Don't get used to it and comfortable with it. Get it handled. It's not that expensive.
It's not, and it's worth taking care of the vehicle. It pays off in the backside. I want to remind everybody as we close out this segment on scheduled maintenance done Bubba style that we will be at Jumbie Bay tonight, Bub. For the annual Thursday night, we will be out there with the Lion Pride. That's Tony Rienzi. Let's see, Kerry from DB8 Motorsports will be there with us. Sean from DNA Surface Concepts will be out there with us. We'll be there.
Monkey in Paradise.
Monkey in Paradise is going to be out there. Seth and Alex, Cars and Coffee will be out there. They'll be represented out there. It's just a great time. It's a great group of people that run together as a family down here, as a business family down here in the South Florida area that have an international presence.
Yeah, just work together and have fun, man. That's it.
It's a really good
These things are fun if you treat them right. That's
They're
it.
a lot of fun.
The cars are a fun hobby. Too many people out there with just negative input, negative problems. They read forums, they create drama, they start nonsense. People don't need to do that, dude. It's not, that's not what makes the hobby fun. These things are fun. People look at them, people stop and take pictures of them when they're at car shows or in that parking lots. This is supposed to be gatherings where people have a good time. not out there to be drama, to be gossip. Man, take that nonsense and go on.
Exactly, and that's the difference about Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach.
None of it.
We don't deal with that group. It's why we chose to take on this partnership with them, because John and Max have done such an amazing job of over
If you start the nonsense, please get in your car and leave.
They don't put up with it. It's about high-end exotics, nice classics, nicely built pro mod cars, a lot of Asian vehicles, turbocharged vehicles.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with it if they're if they're holding strong and they've got respect for them. If you're running a 700 horsepower twin turbo super, you got to kind of bow down a little bit. It's going to be an animal.
It's going to be an animal. And by the way,
as long as it's not smoking and puffing oil all over the front of your Lambo when you're trying.
That's not what you see at this Cars and Coffee
Not
out
at all.
there.
No.
This is a Guinness World Record holding Cars and Coffee. It is the Guinness certified largest Cars and Coffee event in the world. We'll be going for the record again in November, Bob.
Yep.
And this record will include a second phase to it that we'll be talking about much more.
Sounds good.
The Cars and Coffee event this month is June 11th at the Palm Beach Outlet Malls from 9 to 12. I would encourage everybody, even if you're not entering a car, fly into the area. A lot of people have flown out. It's hurricane season from today through the end of October, Bub. And this is the summer months. A lot of people don't like that heat. So this means, and this means there's more room for all of you to come join us at Cars and Coffee events.
That's it.
And hang out here at the facility and do fun stuff with us.
I got to get back on this Benz, finish this thing up. The client's waiting.
I know who this client is too, and she's
But
really hot.
You've been yapping away for like 10 minutes about something, I don't know what, and I got to get these wheels on.
So, Bob,
It's
until
done.
tomorrow-
I'm done. Just keep on doing it Bubba style.
Ladies and gentlemen, reach out to touch somebody's life in a very positive manner. This show is brought to you by Bubba's Exotic Motorsports, and that's Bubba'sExoticMotorsports.com. Miss Outlaw Boutique, MS. Outlaw Boutique. Visit her today, 561-660-6695. Tony Rienzi, TonyRienzi.com. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the monkey will be loose at Jumbie Bay. Come out there and meet us. Monkey in Paradise reminds you to drink responsibly. And Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach, the best cars and coffee show in the world. You're going to be seeing a lot of these guys. They're on some very innovative stuff. It's going to be a good time. Join us tonight out there, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Have a good time. If somebody's hungry, feed them. They got holes in their shoes, buy them a pair of shoes. Till tomorrow, let's keep on doing it, Bubba style. All right, Bubba, what can I do to help you over here with this thing? Great work.
Yes, here we go.
I'll make sure though.